What's up, Tiller fam? It's your favorite Tiller coach, Carlos, or as Jim calls me, Old Crazy Carl, the Osprey. Maybe we'll unpack that nickname in another Tiller tip. Hey, I'm excited to bring you this week's Tiller tip. As you all know, I was blessed to spend over 20 years in the military. During my time in the military, I did what we called land navigation, or in the civilian world, what is called orienteering. There's a principle that I've come across in land nav that I believe has a direct spiritual principle as well. It's called lospot. Lospot, line of sight, path of travel. Now, if you Google this, it will come up as two different things, line of sight and path of travel separately. I believe they can be one and the same, especially spiritually. So here's what I'm talking about. You have a map and a compass. You shoot your azimuth to where you want to go. You look in that direction and you pick the farthest thing that you can see on your exact azimuth. That's your line of sight and should be your path of travel as well. So as you begin walking toward the thing you identified, there may be some things off to the side that maybe want to grab your attention. Maybe there's something shiny off to the side. Maybe in the fall, there's a tree with bright red leaves or Tiller orange leaves, but you must maintain your line of sight to maintain your path of travel. If you begin to look at that shiny thing or at the tree with the bright leaves, you will naturally begin to drift in that direction. The same thing applies spiritually. I've heard so many guys say that they are focused on overcoming a particular sin or sin pattern in their lives. Even if your focus is on overcoming that sin or sin pattern, you will naturally drift toward that thing. So what do? We fix our eyes on the cross, on Jesus. Make that your line of sight and your path of travel. As you begin walking toward the cross, you will naturally bypass that sin or sin pattern. And when you get to the cross, you'll be able to look around and realize, wow, that sin pattern is way behind me because you fixed your eyes on the cross. What does Scripture say about this? Hebrews 12, 1-2 says, "Let us lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely to us. Let us run the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy was set before him endured the cross." Let us look to Jesus. Let us set our eyes on the cross. That is our line of sight, our path of travel. If we do that, we will lay aside every sin which clings so closely to us simply as a byproduct of focusing and walking toward the cross, toward Jesus. All right, I'm going to nerd out just a bit here. There's some science behind this. And the cool thing about what I'm about to tell you about this is that God wired our brains like this. So there's a part of our brain called the locus coeruleus, and that's the part that's active if, for instance, you're buying a black Honda Odyssey, and you look at black Honda Odysseys on the internet for a month, and then you finally buy a black Honda Odyssey. You're going to see them everywhere because your brain, since you've been looking at it, says, oh, the human thinks that this is important, so I'm going to search for it everywhere. If I have told that part of my brain over and over again that this one thing is important, then the brain will just look for it everywhere. It's not like everyone went out and bought a black Honda Odyssey at the same time, but when you get home and I ask you if you saw any black Honda Odysseys, then you might say, yeah, I saw like 5 black Honda Odysseys just on my way home from work. But you'll never be able to tell me how many blue Honda Civics you saw on the same drive. Your experience is what your reticular formation thinks is important and searching for, and it will just kind of delete everything else. So what you set your eyes on, like the cross, like Jesus, will be what you are always looking for, and your brain will disregard everything else, like your sin patterns. So we have the principle, we have Scripture, and we have the science. Let the cross, let Jesus be your line of sight, your path of travel. All right, see you next time, Tiller fam.